Oftentimes, you use crock when you cooking and it's long term, but it's simple. It simmers now, which means you got to wait till it's done. The problem with the crock pot is I understood when something was over, but I was waiting on it to be done. So the crock pot was the last thing I bought. And not having my crock pot in my head, she won. Because that's all I wanted was my crock pot. Just bought it. Because I bought her two and she'd take it to school, leave it, somebody steal it. I just bought that. I used it one time. Man, y'all throw that mess away. Stop holding on to things that resemble your past life and God trying to give you a new life. Now, with the 120-day fiance, see, I left that crock pot with no problem. You know what I got upset over that one was? I said, God dog it, I left my lawnmower and my weed eater. I could have gave that to my boy. That's what I was upset over. A lawnmower and a weed eater. See, but even then, that's man, I ain't gonna worry about it. We got to stop worrying about what we're leaving behind and God trying to teach us something new. The next stage is that disruptive stage. See, a lot of many of you, your life was perfect. You go to work, come home, go to church, and God done put his foot in there and put that stop sign up. And now you don't know what to do with yourself. Transitions often begins with disruption. Now that God has interrupted your normal, you got to prepare for your next. Joseph didn't volunteer for the pit, but the pit was necessary. Moses didn't plan exile, but the wilderness positioned him. Your disruption in your thinking, your way of life is divine strategy. You got to understand me how God understand me. I don't just show up in nobody's life. Every time I show up in somebody's life, that means God finna change your life. When you understand prophetic minimum and prophetic symbolism, and this for anybody who really understand who they are. I don't call nothing no assignment. And see, when a person say I'm going on assignment, you want to be noticed. Brother Hubbard just he'll say, hey, I need you to go over here. I said, okay, God, I go over there. Because I understand sometimes God used natural eyes to look at a person's spiritual position. And a lot of times when I show up in a person's church or if I show up in a person's ministry, I know God finna take them somewhere most of the time. Now, sometimes I know you finna be judged. Ain't my need to say. And why is that? Because God oftentimes want to see, do they hear do they hear him? Which means if you know a person full of the Holy Ghost, full of the Spirit, if they step in your presence, God gonna tell you why they there, or God gonna tell you what they need to do while they there. Sometimes these people won't do that. You know why? Because they afraid of losing control. See, some of you got to understand that people are never going to really receive you as who you are because they know the damage you can do. So sometimes when I show up and I go home, God said, what you think about it? I said, yeah, God, they ready. They show preaching over here, they show preaching. And then you begin to see their ministry just slowly increase. Because you got to understand a lot of times what breaks you often is what builds you. So God used pressure to reposition you. The problem with pressure repositioning you, when you already behind, don't think it ain't time. See, that's that pressure. It gets you to think that you're going too quick. No, cuz you already behind. See, one thing I try to instill in anybody, timing is everything to God. When he said, let there be light, it didn't wait, it moved. Let there be clouds, it didn't wait, it moved. When God speaks to you, you have to come to a level of maturity that when God said it or says it, you better do it. So you got to stop asking, why this happened to me? Why I'm losing this? Why I'm losing that? You got to understand, God, what are you preparing me to get? When I first got caught in the minutes, I started losing stuff. It never dawned in my mind why this happening.
Transformation, center we proclaim. Whoa, living more than just a name. Yeah, moving from a church